Alright, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you is going to make some women mad. In fact, some have already messaged me, saying, delete this. Men aren't supposed to know this. And that, my friend, is exactly why I'm making this video. It says a psychological pattern women use on men, a pattern that's been working for thousands of years, and it keeps working because nobody talks about it. Women don't want you to know it, because the moment you do, their power over you disappears. Most men never figure it out because they're too busy being controlled by it to even see what's going on. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, said something that fits this perfectly. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. And brother, what women tell you they want versus what actually makes them attracted to you. Two totally different things. And they want to keep you confused about which is which. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds bitter, maybe even toxic. But stay with me, because this is an opinion. This is documented psychology, behavioral science, pattern recognition. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll recognize it everywhere in your current relationship, in your past relationships, in every interaction you've ever had with women. Here's the plan. I'm going to walk you through this step by step. I'll show you the exact psychological mechanism women use to create obsession in men. I'll explain why it works so powerfully. I'll show you how to spot it when it's happening to you. And most importantly, I'll teach you how to become completely immune to it using ancient Stoic wisdom. Fair warning, this is going to be uncomfortable. You might get angry. You might feel defensive. That's normal. Truth has a way of making us uncomfortable before it sets us free. Stick with me through this breakdown, and I promise your perspective on dating and relationships will never be the same. You'll see the game clearly for the first time. And once you see the game clearly, you can choose whether to play or walk away. Alright, let's start with the big reveal. The secret women don't want you to know. Ready? Here it is. Women don't create attraction by treating you well. They create obsession by treating you inconsistently. Think about that for a second. Really, let it sink in. The woman who treats you consistently, well, always available, always sweet, always giving you attention. How do you feel about her? Comfortable? Grateful? Appreciative? Maybe? Obsessed? Probably not. You're not checking your phone every 5 minutes hoping she texted. You're not replaying conversations in your head, analyzing every word. You're not thinking about her 24/7. Now, think about the woman who's hot one day and cold the next. Texting paragraphs on Monday, one-word replies on Thursday. Super affectionate when you're together, distant 4 days afterward. Can't get enough of you. 1 week, barely acknowledges you the next. That woman? She has you completely hooked. You're analyzing every interaction, wondering what you did wrong, desperate to figure out how to get back to the good version of her. And here's the crazy part. This isn't random. It isn't just her being moody or confused. It's a pattern, and it's working on you right now if you don't recognize it. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that makes slot machines addictive. The same principle that hooks people on social media. It's the exact same principle that makes inconsistent women so magnetic to men. Here's the mechanics. When you get rewarded consistently, like a paycheck every 2 weeks, your brain adapts. It becomes expected. Normal, you stop feeling excited about it. But when rewards come unpredictably, sometimes you get it. Sometimes you don't. Your brain goes crazy trying to figure out the pattern, obsessing over how to secure the reward next time. This is why gambling is so addictive. And brother, this is exactly what happens when a woman is inconsistent with her attention. She's sweet and affectionate. Your brain releases dopamine, you feel amazing. Then she pulls away, becomes distant, and your emotional state doesn't just return to neutral. You drop below baseline. You're distressed. You're thinking about her constantly, analyzing every text, wondering what changed, questioning what you did wrong. Here's the trap. That distress, the desperate need to get back to the high she gave you, makes you chase. You text more. You try harder. You compromise your boundaries. You accept treatment you'd never tolerate from anyone else. All because you're addicted to a feeling that keeps getting pulled away. The Stoics warned about this 2,000 years ago. Epictetus taught about not being controlled by external things, especially other people's emotions and behaviors. He said, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. But most men do the exact opposite. They give away their power by letting a woman's inconsistent behavior control their emotional state. Here's the kicker. Most women aren't consciously doing this. They're not scheming, thinking, how can I manipulate him today? It's instinctive. They've learned, sometimes without realizing, that inconsistency creates more attraction than consistency. Guys who get treated well lose interest. Guys treated inconsistently become obsessed. So without understanding psychology, they've learned the pattern. Be available, then unavailable. Be affectionate, then distant. Create the high, then take it away. And it's worked on men since the beginning of relationships. This is why women don't want you to know. The moment you understand this pattern, you see it for what it is, and it loses all power over you. You stop being reactive. You stop chasing. You stop letting her inconsistent behavior dictate your emotions. You see the game clearly, and when you see the game clearly, you can't be played anymore. Now, let's break down exactly how this pattern shows up in real life so you can spot it immediately. If you're dealing with a woman right now who has you confused, hooked, or obsessing, you're going to recognize at least 3 or 4 of these tactics. First, there's the hot-cold cycle. 1 week she's texting constantly, making plans, affectionate, making you feel like the only guy in the world. Then, suddenly, without explanation, she's short with replies, distant, maybe even cold. Everything shifts. You're left thinking, what changed? What did I do wrong? How do I get back to that warm version of her? That confusion hooks you hard. Second, strategic unavailability. Maybe you had an amazing date-deep connection. Great conversation, physical intimacy. You feel close? Then, she disappears. Hours pass. Maybe days. Too busy, she says. Did you misread the situation? Did you come on too strong? That panic makes you desperate to see her again. Desperate to fix whatever went wrong. Third, emotional withdrawal. You open up, share something vulnerable, create real intimacy. She responds in the moment, maybe even seems invested. Next time you talk, surface-level chit-chat only. She doesn't reference what you shared. It's like it never happened. This leaves you questioning everything. Did it mean nothing to her? Were you the only one who felt that connection? Suddenly, you're working twice as hard to regain that intimacy. Fourth, attention droughts. After giving you lots of attention, making you feel special, she redirects her energy elsewhere. Posting on social media constantly, going out with friends, too busy to respond to your messages. She's available, but not for you. Scarcity triggers your brain to value her attention more, and you try harder to win it back. Fifth, the comparison trigger. She casually mentions other men, her coworker, a friend, some guy she met. Not blatant jealousy manipulations, just enough awareness to activate your competitive instincts. Suddenly, you're not just maintaining interest, you're competing for it. Finally, mixed messages. She says one thing, does another. I really like spending time with you, but flakes on plans. You're so important to me, but disappears for days. This keeps you confused, trying to figure out what's true, and keeps you engaged in the cycle. All these tactics have one thing in common. They create uncertainty. And uncertainty? Your brain hates it. It obsesses, searching for patterns, trying to find control where none exists. Women, whether consciously or not, exploit this. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In this case, the obstacle is her inconsistency. The uncertainty she creates fuels the chase, the obsession, the emotional addiction. That's why even high-value successful men can get completely hooked on women who treat them poorly. It's not about her being extraordinary, it's about your brain being addicted to a pattern you don't understand. Now, here's the key. Understanding the pattern is only step 1. You need to know how to become immune to it. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes your weapon. Step 1. Recognize the pattern. Stop making excuses for her behavior. She's busy, stressed, had a rough day. No, call it what it is. Intermittent reinforcement. Awareness alone starts breaking its power over you. You cannot be unconsciously controlled by something you consciously understand. Step 2. Do absolutely nothing when she withdraws. Don't text, don't chase, don't try to fix it. This is emotional discipline, straight from Epictetus. You have power over your mind, not outside events. You cannot control her actions, but you can control your response. The correct response to withdraw: nothing, let the void exist. Most men fail this instantly. They panic, text, overcompensate. Don't be that guy. Step 3. Match your energy. Don't exceed it. If she takes 3 hours to respond, you wait 3 hours. If she's distant, you mirror distance. This does 2 things. Keeps your investment proportional to hers, and often flips the dynamic. Now you're unpredictable, and unpredictability is what creates obsession. Suddenly, she's the one chasing. Step 4. Maintain a life independent of her. Have your own plans, your own goals, your own purpose. Build a life so full that her availability, or lack thereof, doesn't control your mood. This abundance mentality strips her power because you're no longer dependent on her for happiness or validation. Step 5. Set boundaries. Make it clear. I need consistency. I need communication and effort. If you can't provide that, this won't work. Most men avoid this because they're afraid of losing her. But here's the truth. You can't lose what you never truly had. A woman who keeps you hooked through inconsistency isn't worth compromising your standards for. The Stoics taught living by principles, not bending to get approval. When you implement these 5 steps, something powerful happens. Either she becomes consistent, realizing the game isn't working, or she moves on to find someone easier to manipulate. Either way, you win. You're no longer a pawn in a psychological trap. Let's go deeper with the Stoic framework to make you permanently immune. Principle 1. Control only what you control. You control your behavior, your standards, your investment, not hers. Stop obsessing over her moods or consistency. Principle 2. Don't need what you can't control. If your emotional state depends on her attention, she controls you. Fill your life with purpose, friendships, and goals. When you don't need her, she loses power. Principle 3. See reality clearly. Stop believing her words. Observe her actions. What she does reveals truth. Stoicism demands facing uncomfortable realities, not comforting illusions. Principle 4. Maintain your standards. Inconsistency is a deal breaker, not a challenge. Don't compromise your principles because she's attractive or because you fear being alone. When you internalize these 4 principles, inconsistency no longer moves you. You see it for what it is. You refuse to participate. You become emotionally unshakable. Here's the final reality check. When you stop being controlled by inconsistency, women using these patterns often escalate. They'll try harder, dropping small breadcrumbs to see if the manipulation still works. Psychologists call this the extinction burst. If you don't react, don't chase. Nothing happens. Either she starts being consistent or she moves on, and you need to be fine with option 2. Because a woman who only wants you when she can control you is not someone you actually want. Stoicism teaches accepting loss with dignity. If keeping your standards means losing her, that loss is a blessing. It shows she wasn't right for you. Don't mourn, celebrate. You filtered out someone incompatible and made room for someone better. Here's the ultimate truth. Mature, emotionally healthy women exist. Women who are consistent, genuinely invested, clear communicators, and who don't play psychological games. But you'll never find them if you're wasting energy obsessed with women who hook you through inconsistency. When you refuse to play, you filter out manipulators and attract quality women, those who match your standards, respect you, and offer genuine connection. Let me bring this all home for you. Here's the bottom line. Women don't want you to know that they create obsession through strategic inconsistency. Hot, then cold. Available, then distant. Affectionate, then withdrawn. This pattern triggers intermittent reinforcement in your brain, creating a level of addiction stronger than anything consistent, positive treatment could ever do. Most men spend their whole lives trapped in this cycle, chasing women who have them, hooked through unpredictability, while taking for granted women who treat them well. They think they're in love. The truth, they're addicted to a psychological pattern they don't understand. The Stoics gave us the antidote 2,000 years ago. Here it is, boiled down. Control what you can control. Your behavior, your boundaries, your standards. Not her moods, her attention, or her choices. Don't need what you can't control. Emotional dependence gives her power. Build a life so full that our presence or absence doesn't dictate your happiness. See reality clearly. Observe her actions, not her words. Everything she says is opinion. Her behavior shows the truth. Maintain your standards. Inconsistency is a deal breaker, not a challenge. Never compromise your principles to chase attention. When you apply these principles, women's inconsistency loses its power. You stop chasing. You stop reacting. You maintain control of your emotions. When she pulls away, you do nothing. When she's hot and cold, you match her energy, or step away entirely. When she violates your standards, you leave. No negotiation. Meanwhile, you're building a life so full of purpose, friends, goals, and happiness that no single woman's attention, or lack thereof, can significantly move your emotional state. This is freedom. Free from manipulation. Free from chasing women who don't genuinely value you. Free to pursue relationships built on mutual respect, clear communication, and consistent investment. Here's the real kicker. Women who rely on this pattern will try harder when it stops working. They'll escalate, throw little breadcrumbs, test to see if the pattern still hooks you. This is called the extinction burst. If you don't react, don't chase, don't overcompensate, 2 things happen. Either she becomes consistent, or she moves on, and you need to be completely okay with option 2, because a woman who only wants you when she can manipulate you isn't a woman you actually want in your life. Stoicism teaches accepting loss with dignity. If standing by your principles means losing her, that loss is clarity, not tragedy. You've filtered out someone incompatible and made room for someone better, a woman who respects your consistency, matches your energy, and values you as much as you value her. Now, let's talk about the type of women you want in your life. Mature, emotionally healthy women exist. They are consistent because they genuinely care. They communicate clearly because they respect you. They don't need games to secure your attention. They add value instead of creating psychological chaos. The problem is, most men never get to them because they're busy obsessing over women who hook them through unpredictability. Here's the ultimate truth. Once you understand intermittent reinforcement, recognize inconsistency, and apply Stoic principles, you automatically filter out the manipulators and start attracting the right women. You stop wasting energy on women who play games and start investing in women who meet your standards. Women who are reliable, emotionally available, and respectful of your time, attention, and boundaries. The harsh reality of human psychology is this: we chase uncertainty and take certainty for granted. That's why consistent, good-hearted women often get overlooked, while unpredictable women keep men hooked. But now, you know the game. You understand the pattern. You know why it works and how to break free. So here's the choice. You can continue playing a game designed to manipulate and control you, or you can step off the roller coaster, walk away from the chaos. Stop chasing attention that isn't earned. Stop letting unpredictability dictate your emotional state. Build a life filled with purpose, independence, and abundance. Align yourself with women who respect your standards and bring real value into your life. When you internalize this knowledge, something incredible happens. You're no longer reactive. You're no longer hooked. You're in control. You decide who gets your time and energy. You attract women who are consistent because they genuinely want to be with you, not because they're using a pattern to create obsession. Remember, understanding this isn't just for dating. This is life-level psychology. Intermittent reinforcement, manipulation, control, all of it exists everywhere. Recognizing it gives you freedom in relationships, friendships, and business. You stop giving your power away and start living life on your own terms. Here's the final takeaway. Women don't want you to know this because it breaks their power, but now you do. The secret is out. You see the game? You understand the pattern? And you can walk away from my tour, engage with full awareness. You're no longer a pawn. You're no longer reactive. You're free. The question now isn't what they're doing. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? Will you continue letting unpredictability control your emotions, or will you step into your power, apply these principles, and start building relationships that are consistent, respectful, and truly fulfilling? The choice is yours. The Stoics taught it thousands of years ago. Modern psychology proves it today. Intermittent reinforcement controls men. Awareness and discipline free them. You now have the tools to see through the games, refuse manipulation, and align yourself with women who actually deserve your time, energy, and respect. So, remember this. Inconsistent women create obsession. Predictable, consistent women create stability, respect, and real love. One hooks you through psychological manipulation. The other builds something lasting. Know the difference. Choose wisely. Live by your standards. Protect your mind. Protect your heart. And above all, refuse to give your power away.